Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this early morning breaking news video, because the fate of the final Sauber seat has been sealed and it will be Gabriel Bortoleto driving alongside Nico Hülkenberg, not just for next year but for a multi-year deal. We'll get into all of that in just one moment. Before we do, remember to like and subscribe, and a huge shout out to our members, Dakota, The Joyous James, Robin Myers, and Cinnamon Strudel. Now, I'm very happy about this news because I am a big fan of Bortoleto in this whole thing of who's going to get the Sauber seat. He has been my guy since day one, and it seems like it has gone the way I thought it might do. So Gabriel Bortoleto, obviously not the biggest name in motorsport right now, although arguably he should be probably the biggest young name in motorsport right now. If you aren't familiar with him, he is the Formula 3 champion of last year. He entered Formula 3 in his rookie year and won the title. He is currently in his rookie year of Formula 2 and is currently leading the championship with one race to go. So is in a position to not only have won Formula 3 in his rookie year, but then go on to win Formula 2 in his rookie year. A feat that has only been done by Oscar Piastri previously in these new era of Formula 2 and Formula 3. Only Oscar Piastri has won both in their rookie year. Bortoleto looking to reflect that as well. So that shows the level of talent we are dealing with when it comes to Gabriel Bortoleto. That's not even mentioning earlier this year at the Italian Grand Prix in Formula 2, he went from last place on the grid to win the race in an incredible race in Formula 2. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go and have a look at the highlights of that one. Incredible stuff. Also, he's a Brazilian driver, has a huge fan base already. We saw this past weekend how crazy the Brazilian fans were for Franco Colapinto from Argentina. So just imagine how mad they're going to be when an actual Brazilian driver is back on the grid. And, this guy has a lot of upside to him. I think he's really good. He is a McLaren junior, which was a question mark around if he would go to Audi or not, but apparently McLaren have been very accommodating with Audi to say, yeah, okay, we can let him go from here, but I think he will still have that McLaren connection, because they want him as some kind of backup. If something was to happen to Norris or Piastri, they always want that name there to pull back upon. But yeah, a multi-year deal for Gabriel Bortoleto going up into 2026 through the regulation change. I think this is incredible for him. I think he's going to be something really special. It's going to be hard to tell how much he's going to be able to show, because the Sauber next year is at the same level the Sauber is this year, and that level is rock bottom, then it's going to be hard to show anything, realistically, because they are so rubbish that I think, like this year, I think Bottas has been having some incredible weekends where he's come away with nothing because the car just can't do anything. Realistically, the only thing they can be judged against is their teammates, and Bottas, for me, has outperformed Zhou quite one-sidedly all year. But if you look at the championship standings, Bottas is at the bottom of the championship because Zhou had a decent result on the very first race of the year. Since then, the Sauber has gone downhill, everyone else has gone up. Bottas hadn't been able to replicate the results that Zhou had on that one first race of the year. So it's difficult to perform in a car that is dreadful, but you will be compared to your teammate, which is a blessing and a curse for Gabriel Bortoleto, whose teammate will be Nico Hülkenberg, who has been consistently performing incredibly well in that Haas car this year. So for Bortoleto, of course, it's going to be great to have someone like Hülkenberg to learn from in your rookie year is, of course, going to be a great thing. But also on that other side of it, if the Sauber isn't great, and the only comparison in terms of how good Bortoleto is doing is going to be him in comparison to Nico Hülkenberg, that might be a difficult challenge for him. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, another interesting storyline going into next year of how will he compare to Nico Hülkenberg. Let's touch briefly on Bottas and Zhou, because, of course, with Bortoleto coming in, it means that seat is now closed for those two. And in the grand schemes of Formula One, realistically, there's one seat left in terms of the second Racing Bull seat. We still don't really know what's going on there and how that could even affect the main Red Bull team, but it's very unlikely that Bottas or Zhou will end up there. So looks like the end of their Formula One careers. I think someone like Bottas, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in a couple of years we saw him come back to another team, but I think for Zhou this is probably very likely the end of his Formula One career, in a season that has not been very good for him at all. Like I said, he is currently above Bottas in the championship because of that result back in Bahrain, but his results all year have just really not been good. A lot of qualifying 20th place and then just finishing the last of whoever finished. Really not great at all. And for Bottas, what a great career he has had. Think of all the wins and the podiums and, being part of the championship winning teams with Mercedes. If this is his last year, really not a great way to go out for him. I still think he's delivering some decent weekends, which just convert to nothing because he can't convert them to anything in that car. The silver lining for Bottas is it looks like there is a position within Mercedes set up for him there in terms of like a third driver or a test driver or something like that. So it'd be good to see Bottas go back to that Mercedes family, but of course he wants to be racing and hopefully he can get back racing, wherever that might be, WEC or... I don't think he'd go to Formula E, but you never know. But yeah, I think Bottas still has something to give here, and it's a shame to see him go out like this. But yeah, as for the whole picture of Formula One, like I said, one seat left to go. It is that second Racing Bull seat, and that has implications to the Red Bull seat as well. Personally, as we sit here right now, I do think Perez will be dropped, despite them giving him a contract earlier this year. I think he will be dropped, and I think Liam Lawson will be alongside Max Verstappen next year. That just leaves the question of Yuki Tsunoda and who, because Franco Colapinto was another name who was heavily rumoured to be in that Sauber seat, and with that now being closed off, and of course the two Williams seats are taken for next year, Franco Colapinto, who has shown so much talent over his few races with the Williams team, where does he go? Because I think he has proven that he deserves a seat, and there are of course those discussions that maybe he will be in the second Racing Bull seat. So that's an interesting one to watch from there as well. I mean, in terms of other names that could go there, Isaac Hadjar is currently a Red Bull Junior, is the challenge to Bortoleto for that Formula 2 title. So maybe we could see him. Of course, there's always the rumours that Daniel Ricciardo could make another comeback, so who knows where that could come from. Let me know who you think's going to go in that second seat. As I see it right now, I think it will be Colapinto in that second seat, with Lawson getting the promotion up to the Red Bull team proper. But yeah, the main news here, Gabriel Bortoleto will be in the Sauber seat for next year alongside Nico Hülkenberg. I'm very happy about that. I think he is going to be a shining light on the Formula One grid. And for those of you who haven't seen him race before, I think you're going to really enjoy seeing him race, because he's got a really mature head on him for racing. When he was in Formula 3, he came out as a title protagonist very early on, and then just gave these fantastic kind of cautious championship drives every weekend, just going, right, we're going to just go and get the points that we need and come away from there just however we need to win this title. Very pragmatic, won the title in a great way. Then in Formula 2 this year, at the start of the year, was very much not a contender for the title, so has had to fight for it. And in races like that one, when he went from last to first, has had to get his elbows out, has had to make some really good overtakes, has had to fight for this title. And realistically, he wasn't in contention for the title until about Monza. That one really made everyone kind of sit up and go, oh, okay, this guy's here for the title. And now he's leading the championship, one race to go. I think he can do it. I think he's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing him in Formula 1 next year. And, it just goes to show again, we've had all these discussions of, is F2 fit for purpose and all this kind of stuff? Because you look at the rookies coming in next year. Ollie Behrman, who had a decent, well, a very good F2 year last year, but this year's F2 season has not been great for him, and he's in Formula 1 next year. I think he deserves it, of course, but, not from his great Formula 2 results this year. The same with Antonelli, he's been in Formula 2 this year, and yes, he's won some races, but, in terms of the championship, he's not in contention for the championship, but he's in Formula 1 next year. We got Jack Doohan, who's going to be in Formula 1 next year. He never won the F2 championship. And we've had all these questions like, well, the F2 champion kind of wins it and then becomes a reserve driver or disappears off into the background. But I think with Bortoleto here, he was not in contention for any F1 seat at the start of this year, and his pure speed and racing ability in Formula 2 has put him on the radar of these teams, and what he has done in Formula 2 and looks like he's going to win the Formula 2 championship, that is what has earned him the right to race in Formula 1. And I know he will be, I think, used as this person now for the younger drivers to go, look, it doesn't matter kind of what teams you're affiliated to, it doesn't matter all this kind of stuff. If you show how good you are, you can make it to Formula 1. And I think he is a great, great story, and I hope he does well going into next year and 2026. I will definitely be cheering him on because I think he's great. Right, that's all we got time for here this morning. Let me know what you think. I will see you later on this week. Got a video coming out on Friday, so I'll see you there for that one. Until then, though, have a good one. I'll see you later. Goodbye.